I'm ready.
Welcome, everyone, to RT Corner, August 26, 2025. We have a special guest today, Dr. Bob Wubbolding. He's going to be working with us today on what is the purpose of role playing and giving us a couple examples. He's an internationally known teacher, author, and practitioner of reality therapy. He's taught choice theory and reality therapy all over the world, United States, Europe, Asia, North Africa, Middle East. I'm probably forgetting some. Um, 18 books he's written, 41 chapters in textbooks, including entries in counseling and psychology encyclopedias. And he's taught choice theory and reality therapy, developing a teaching tool that I love called the WDEP system. But today we're going to be working with him on role playing and why was Dr. Glasser interested in developing role plays for everyone? Dr. Bob, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Vicki. It's good to be here. It's always good to be around reality therapy people, even though there's some distance between us.
Mm.
Um, so today, the focus is on role playing, and I'd like to role play a difficult client. I'd like you to think about somebody that you really have a hard time with, and it may not be a real client. It may be somebody that's made up kind of, or a conglomerate of people. I just have a few rules for role play, and these are rules you can use when you teach it yourselves. So uh, it'll explain these rules explain why we do role plays and of what value they are. So, Vicki, you have a few questions you were going to ask me?
Yeah, why was the first one, why Dr. Glasser felt that role plays were so important when he was alive and training and teaching?
Well, I think the primary reason is that this is the best way to learn it is to do it and to see it done by somebody who knows what they're doing. And so many times, so many times people who teach skills like reality therapy or other theories, other systems, they don't always tell you, they don't always do it and show you. I go to a lot of conferences. I'll tell you, it's rare, very rare when somebody will show you how to do it. They'll tell you to go do it. And I was at a conference when everything was closed down a few years ago. I got 41 hours of continuing education, and there were only two presentations that had demonstrations. One was mine, and one was another person who with his wife did about a minute of conversation that they called role play. So uh, it's one thing to study this stuff; it's another thing to do it. And so that's the reason he wanted role play to be the primary vehicle for teaching it. Not the only vehicle, but I was certain, well, maybe not the primary, but it's certainly at close to the top. So that's the way we, in fact, uh, when we wrote the policy and procedure manual, I think it's not the current one, but the one before that. Linda Harshman and I wrote it, and we talked about in there that one of the primary vehicles for learning reality therapy in our intensive trainings is the role play. And now I'm not saying that was implemented by everybody 100%, but uh, Vicki, you've attended present intensive trainings I've taught, and you know that that's what we do. A lot of not exclusively, but one way. For example, if you're learning how to drive a car, what do? Just watch, just read about it? No, you sit in the car with somebody who knows how to drive, and they show you what to do, and then they tell you to do it.
Hmm.
So uh, that's how it works. You can't learn to drive a car unless you practice. So that's the reason. I mean, this is a skill. It's based on a solid theory, but it's primarily a skill. Okay. Any other questions from you?
I had one in the role play. Dr. Glasser would have three people in the role play. Could you explain the roles of the three people?
Um, I think you're referring to the client or the student and the helper or the practitioner or the counselor, whatever you want to call that person who's talking to the individual who needs help, and an observer. And the observer just observes and then describes what happened. And I'll talk about that after we do the role play.
Okay.
I'll illustrate that, and I'll say more about that.
Okay. So what should we be looking for when you start your role play?
Okay, I would suggest you. It's pretty much it's pretty hard to describe what to look for because there's so much. You could look for
Okay.
the theory, choice theory,
Okay.
uh, and you could look for the techniques or the practical interventions that I make, and then look for the response of the client. So there's a lot you can look for, but when I teach it, I just say, look for choice theory only, and then I say, and that means what the client is doing and what their needs are and what are their needs that are met and unmet, and then I say primarily look for and other people in the group look for the reality therapy and look for the interventions that you can use. Uh, Now, let me say a word since I brought it up. Let me say a word about theory and practice. Uh, what is theory? To me, theory is figuring out what to do when you don't know what to do. And it's practical. The choice theory is practical. It's usable, but it's also a theory. It explains and directs the conversation. For example, Glasser said that choice theory is like the train track and reality therapy is the train. So the theory helps you figure out what to do. It gives you direction. It's necessary, but it's useless without some vehicle on the track to direct you, or I should say, steer you toward a goal. So they're both necessary. Uh, Having a theory and having a technique, or
Okay.
having a series of interventions.
Okay.
Is my is my head cut off on the?
No, you look fine.
Well,
Uh,
I can. It must be just my computer then. Okay. Um,
so we have several people on here that
yeah.
could voluntold or volunteer to do role plays with you.
Okay.
I, I'd like to excuse myself because I really love role playing with Dr. Bob. I'd like to give people an opportunity. So we've got Rita, Rasha, Pamela, uh, is it Mr. Taylor and Rena? Would one of you like to volunteer to do a
Oh,
role
wait.
play?
I want to say another word about role play.
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. Okay. So I'd like you to think about this. Not only how you can use it in your work, but also how can you generalize it to other fields, other uh, other responsibilities. For instance, if we have a person who's in corrections, and you're a drug counselor, or you're a school counselor, or you're just an interested party, how could you transfer anything that you hear to some other field? So that's the idea of transference of learning. Transference of learning is really important. If you want to learn this, you can pretty much apply it to anything.
Yes.
And to parenting, to supervision, to management, and so on. By the way, do you see the background to me? It looks like a vision of the earth, right? Well, Glasser wanted to teach reality therapy to the world, and I'm suggesting I'm going to write a book. It'll be called Galactic Reality Therapy. How do you apply it to the galaxy?
I love it. I love it.
How do you apply this to the Andromeda? or to the Pleiades, the one of the great constellations out there. Or it's hard to apply it to our own solar system because it doesn't seem to have intelligent life on Mars or on Venus or on the other planets. So, but there surely is intelligent life somewhere, I would think. Wouldn't you all think that?
Well, Rasha had her thumbs up for you. She gave you a thumbs up for your new book.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that's. I don't know if I'll get around to that book or not. It might be a very short book.
That's
But
okay too.
okay. So anyway, those are some thoughts about role play. And I would suggest to you that if you teach this to anybody, set those set some boundaries. And for example, here's one I forgot. Um, Whoever makes up something first, we say it's true. If the client or the student, whoever it is, makes it up, just go along with it. But and if you make it up, it has to be true. I mean, it doesn't have to be true, but we pretend it's true. Okay, so those are some guidelines because I've had all this happen, and I always say no violence. You can't hit me, and that sounds like a joke, but I was doing a workshop out west. I think it was Portland, Oregon, and somebody was going to role play an elementary school kid. Before I could even say anything, she came up, sat in the chair next to me, and swung her coat and hit me right in the face, and my glasses went flying. And I said, wait, this is role play. Save your violence for the real world. In fact, I don't really mean that, but you get my point.
Yes.
Okay, so enough introduction. Now let's get to a demonstration.
Okay.
Do we have somebody who wants to be a difficult client?
Rita raised her hand. Yay.
Hey, Rita. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to mute. So
Okay. Can you hear me, Rita?
Yes.
Okay. So give me a little background. What setting do you want it to be?
So mental health therapy, I'm just thinking of a client that I have that actually is really difficult. So African American, early 30s. Um, let's see. Her problem is everybody else is the problem. So
Yeah.
no accountability. And yeah, so that's the gist of it. It's everybody's problem. And
Okay.
can't identify her emotions. Refuses, even if I point it out, refuses
And
to
she was
identify.
sent here. She didn't really want to come. Is that accurate or not?
She wants to come.
Oh,
She
she wants
can't
to
come.
come.
She
Okay.
wants to come because she thinks everybody else in her family is not great. So she wants to work on herself, but she really doesn't want to work on herself. She wants to use it as a venting session every time.
Yeah. Okay. And so I've seen her before.
Yes, you've seen her for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
2 years, about once a month, and every time she's in crisis.
Okay. Okay. Good. And what will her name be? Not Rita. Make up a name.
Sierra.
Sierra. Okay. I had one person was role playing with me. She said, I'm a triplet, and my name is Akisha, and there are three of us: Akisha, Felicia, and Letitia, and their families.
Well,
So
let's use Keisha. I like Keisha. Let's use that one.
Keisha,
Yeah.
you want to do that? Okay, it doesn't matter to me. I'll use whatever name you want if I can remember it. I usually can, but okay. So Keisha, you walked in here today, and what thoughts went through your mind when you walked in here?
I walked in and I'm just like, I'm just tired. I just need somebody to talk to today.
Okay, so you're tired, and I don't know exactly what that means, but uh, how do you know you're tired?
I'm just constantly drained. My mind, my body. I'm always exhausted. I'm not sleeping good.
Yeah, and you'd like to sleep better, I suppose. Uh,
Yeah, but my
you-
mind just never turns off.
I see. I see. Well, could you pick out one thing from this cauldron of thoughts that you have that you'd like to talk about?
Everything. My whole life is in shambles. I just don't know where to start.
Well, just pick one.
Well, let's see. What about my friendships? My friendships are just always nobody loves me, and it's always nobody loves me.
And you say friendships, that sounds like it's plural.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost everybody. I have one best friend, but like everybody else, like I'm always doing for everybody and nobody's helping me.
I see. I see. So, well, you're doing for other people. You sound like you're a generous person. We've talked
Yeah,
about this before. D-
yeah,
d-
people don't understand how generous I am.
Well, do you understand it? Do you believe it?
Oh, I believe it. That's why that's what I do. I'm a generous person. I love to help people.
Okay, tell me about a recent time that you did something for somebody and you would call it a generous act.
Well, my friend needed money for her car payment, and I just said, "Hey, I'll help you out, and I'll take care
Oh,
of it for you."
and how much did you give her?
Well, she said she was only behind 1 month, and then it come to be like 2 months, and so I gave her enough for 2 months.
How much was that?
It was like almost 600. So I was going to take a vacation. I decided not to do my vacation,
Yeah, $600.
but
Did
she's a
she?
really good friend.
Yeah, I'll bet she is. Uh, uh, I wish I had a friend like that, like you. Uh, but so you gave her $600. Do you ever think? Do you think you'll ever see that 600?
I don't know. I don't know.
Now, let me ask you this: when you gave her the money, did that make her a better friend or not?
Yeah, she was nicer after that.
Yeah. And did she hint about get trying to get more money from you?
No, no,
Yeah.
not yet. She was just happy to get that help.
Yeah. And have you given money to other people?
Yeah, sometimes my family, sometimes they need help with like groceries or different things, and sometimes
Over the course of, say, 2 or 3 months, how much money would you have given away?
I haven't even counted it up.
Well, just take a guess.
Well, that 600, that's that one. I'd say in of course, of 2 months, I'd say close to 1,500.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, wow. What do you think about that? No, without kidding yourself, giving
Well,
away your money.
I see it as helping because I'm single and not everybody else has that extra money. So I'm just trying to be a help.
Yeah. Yeah. And do they feel helped or do they feel like they want to come back to you
Well, you know what? They do come back quite often
for
with
money?
another problem.
Oh, wow. Now, are your parents still living?
Yeah, and that's part of the problem too. Like my family is just they're just as dysfunctional and so it's just like I don't have anybody. So that's my friends. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Could I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I don't know whether you're going to like this or not, but when someone asks you for money, and especially hundreds of dollars, say no.
I don't know how to say no.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Can you say no now?
Yeah.
You can. Let's hear you say that. I know. I know.
No.
Okay, so you can say no. You said you can't, but you can say it here. I know it's a different story when a family member.
Yeah, when they call you with something that's really urgent, like I just want to jump in and help.
Yeah. You know, this reminds me of something happened to me when I was younger. Uh, I had a friend who was an alcoholic. I mean, and he was really good at talking people out of money. I mean, this guy was a pro. And he came to town, and uh, another friend of mine helped, and I facilitated his entry into a recovery program. And I had had a history of him because I didn't know a great deal about addictions, but I knew enough to tell my friend, my other friend, who was not an alcoholic. I said, "Well, let's go down and see him, but I'm going to take all the money out of my wallet and have a couple dollars on it because I know he will talk me out of it." That's how good he was. And we both agreed to do that. And then he sure enough, he started to say, "I'm going to leave this place, but I need money." And we said, "We don't have it." And that's the only way I could resist him. And but he did get leave the program early, and we went down to talk to the director of the program. You know what he said? He said he almost talked me out of money.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
good. That's how good he was. He could talk anybody out of money. So why do you think I'm telling you that?
Because some people just have a pattern.
Oh, that's right. Some people have a power to kind of seduce you into giving them money. But what about you? And what did I do to prevent that?
You left the extra cash at home.
Yeah,
You could honestly say, I don't have it.
that's right. That's right. So what I'm saying is that's called a boundary. You know, like in basketball, they have boundaries. If you step over the line, you have to turn the ball over to the other team. Now, would you be interested in establishing boundaries?
Yeah, I think if I could learn how to have good boundaries, I could be good in relationships at work, in my family,
At
at
work?
yeah,
Okay.
it's every relationship, family, friends, at work.
Yeah.
Everybody's always asking me to do something because they know I'm good at helping.
Yeah. And what do you always say?
Sure, I'll take care of it.
Okay, what could you say that's different than that?
No, no,
Okay.
it's
You could
hard to say
actually,
no.
okay. So suppose I here today say, Keisha, could I have about $500? Could you do that for me? What would you say?
I would say no.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
No, and don't ask me again.
Okay.
Now you could say that to me. I know you may not want to say that to a friend, but I'm just trying to illustrate firmness.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I think that's something I could definitely try.
Well, I know you could, but will you?
It'll be hard.
Oh, sure. So who's likely to sort of ask you something like that in the next week or so? Don't use a name, but I mean, what would they be? A friend? Would they be family? Would they be somebody at work?
I mean, I'd say family's just as bad, just asking for something.
Do they? So is any of them likely to ask you for anything in the next week?
I'd say probably.
Okay. And now, would that be a sister or brother, or who would it be?
Um, yeah, I'd say probably one of my siblings,
One of your siblings, a male or female?
female,
And is this person older or younger than you?
younger. I'm the oldest.
Okay. And how old would this person be?
So I'm the oldest, so she would be like 27.
27. And she's asking you for money. Now, what might she say to you?
Well, the kids need diapers or I need help with my car payment.
Yeah. And it's hard to resist giving somebody like that money, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when it's kids involved.
Yeah. So let's say she says that to you. I'll be you for a moment. And you
Mm.
be her and you ask me that. You say that to me.
Oh, Dr. Bob, can I borrow some
No,
money?
I'm you. I'm you. I'm Keisha.
Okay.
You're gonna be her.
Hey, hey sis, how are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing fine, but I'm kind of broke.
What's going on?
Well, not much. What can I do for you here today? You called me.
Well, just calling to say hi.
Okay. Well, you usually want something from me. What do you want from me now?
Well, it's just my child support payment hasn't came in, and so it's just needed a little bit to hold me over. I just didn't know if you had
Yeah,
any extra money.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to say no this time.
Well, Johnny Jr. needs some diapers.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know who else to turn to, and you're the only one that always helps.
Only one, but there may be other places you can go to get them.
Like where? Where am I gonna go in
Do
midnight?
you go to church?
No, I'm tired of church.
Yeah, well, that's a good place to go to get things. Sometimes there's very generous people there. And what do you think about trying that?
Well, it'd be worth a try if they can help me out.
Yeah, you go to the minister. Go to the ministers because sometimes they're willing to dig into their pocket.
Yeah, that's something I could try. There's a church down the street.
Okay. And so you'll go there and ask them. Yeah,
But
I
what
mean,
if
I'd
they
like
say
to help you,
no?
but I can't. See, I have to draw a line here.
What if they say no? What if they say they can't help?
Well, there's other churches, a lot of churches around. There's other agencies you could go to.
Okay.
There's the Lutheran service, and there's Methodist, and there's Presbyterian, and there's Catholic, and there's Episcopal. All these places very often have funds for people.
So you can't help me this one more time?
No, I can't. And that's final.
I thought you loved me.
Well, I do. And how many times did I say yes to you?
I'm not counting.
I know, but I am, and I know the number. It's a lot of times.
Well, I really need the help.
Okay, so where will you go first?
Well, I guess I'll try the church down the street and see what they can do to help.
Yeah, okay. Will you do that?
I'll try.
I know you'll try. You'll do it though, right? Is that what you're saying?
I don't have any other choice.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. What do you got to lose?
My dignity, me begging for food, begging for diapers.
Well, you're asking me, and that doesn't hurt your dignity. And I know you. So they don't even know you. I don't know how you could lose your dignity asking somebody you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so Keisha, would you do me a favor? And when after you do that, would you call me and tell me how it went?
Yeah, yeah, I'll call you.
You don't.
I'll shoot you a text and let you know how it goes.
I like to hear your voice, so give me a call.
Mm, oh, I don't have any minutes on my phone. So can you send me money for my cell phone?
Yeah, well, I can't help you with that. But maybe you can, surely you can have access to a telephone. You're calling me now.
Yeah, somebody let me borrow their phone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you could ask him again if you want to. Okay. Now, how do you feel right now? You feel, do you feel closer to me or more distant or resentful or sad,
I feel
reject?
sad because you're not helping me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm helping you in a different way. Will you call me after you go down to the church and ask for a few bucks?
Yeah, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. All right, Keisha. Now, I know this is painful, but I'm doing my best to help you without diminishing my resources because, I need the money I make. Try to save it, and or sometimes I spend it. And I've given a lot to you. Okay. All right. Give me a call.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Now, after you do a role play, it's very important that you leave it there and don't take it with you. So tell the group, I am not Keisha.
I am not Keisha.
Okay, so the role just stays right there and it kind of evaporates. Well, all right, let's talk about that. Now, we didn't solve any kind of personality issues or anything like that, but we did actually address them. If you understand neuroscience, I mean, we're trying to help her open some new pathways and connections in her mind. That's all. That's what we've always done in reality therapy. Now we know that it's solidly based on neuroscience, but let's not get into that. That's a long, irrelevant discussion, I think. All right, we got 3 people plus, we got 4 people, but 3 participants plus our excellent coordinator, Vicki Harris. What did you see happening? Let's talk about what you saw happening, not what didn't happen. What we might, people like to talk about all that stuff out there. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? We can talk about that, but first, the way to learn from role plays is to talk about what did happen.
I saw a shift that you were trying to make from saying yes all the time to how are you going to say no?
Yeah,
And how are you going to not just say no and leave her, but say no and offer? Have you thought about something else or another way of getting the funds?
yeah.
Somebody else want to share what they saw? Oh, Rasha, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, for the role play, it's like a belief in her mind, and you change the belief in a way or another without. It was very simple way. The
I'm
belief
sorry,
that
I can't hear you very well.
let me just
Can't see
now.
you.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what I was saying is that it's a kind of a belief in her mind not to say the word no. So in a very simple way, she already changed a belief in her life, and she tried to replace something in a way like there's a pattern that was a little bit like a tweak of this kind of a pattern, and she evaluated herself without even knowing that she's like when you did the demonstration directly, she evaluated herself and she planned for it, so it's like
Andy?
she did the whole issue.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
And this is
that
what I
was a
noticed.
new behavior when she said no. I mean, it was new for her, at least that was the impression I got. So,
Anybody else want to share what they saw or heard?
I could definitely see the wheels moving. Right. Like you said, like Rasha said, kind of like that you could tell that shift there, that kind of like, how can I say this? How can I, okay, this isn't so hard. This is hard, but it's not so hard. And you could kind of see that, building that confidence up a little bit. It was evident in the wheels are moving kind of way.
Yeah, I tried to help her find a new behavior. Now, this isn't earth shaking, I know that, but it's a step.
Well, I think she was stunned. Maybe that's the word I was trying to look for. Um, you're not saying yes, you're not going to help me. And so the pattern, like Rasha was talking about, was interrupted. What she's
Yeah.
used to doing was interrupted. And I'm not sure, Rita, if you felt like, what's this all about? I've never done this before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes our job is to comfort the afflicted, which you feel like doing with her. But also our job is to afflict the comfortable. And she's kind of comfortable in this dependency that she has. But I mean, I don't mean to be harsh or empathic. But see, in reality therapy, empathy is not only seeing her situation and her as she is, but seeing what it could be. And what she could be is more independent. And it's hard. I mean, she gave me this story, and it's hard to resist. I want to reach in my pocket and give her money, but that wouldn't help. That would make her probably more dependent.
I like your comment, comfort the afflicted, and maybe our job is to afflict the comfortable.
Yeah,
I like that. Rasha, you have your hand up.
it's not an excuse
Yep.
for. Pardon me.
Sorry, doctor. Also, there's something when you just gave her an example about your friend.
Yeah,
This was very important. Like I thought that during a sessions we don't give examples. Like we do not give examples on our own, like what happened with us or from our own experience. So this also made a tweak in her mind. Like she saw the whole picture. She saw something in front of her as if it's happening, and then she tried to model it in a way or another. This is what I saw I observed. Thank you.
yeah, that's a true story too. This guy was really good, man. I've never met anybody who was so engaging and so able to talk you out of your money. And it seems like it'd be easy to say no, but for me, it was not easy. And and for my friend who went with me to the clinic, I said, let's leave our money at home. And because the last time I emptied my wallet, and I said, what did I do?
Right.
But and then you can use all kind of examples. And I say sometimes you change the details and so on, so as not to lose confidentiality. But this is so long ago. There's no way I think he's dead now, but I don't. You would never know who that is.
Rita, I'm curious, is this difficult for you in your normal natural setting to kind of hold that boundary or that line? Because it was so visually impactful that you were growing or gaining some perspectives. Do you actually have difficulty with that in your practice?
Yeah, this client, I think because we've worked together for so long and I've tried to terminate her because I'm like, I don't think we're making progress. And she's like, well, I really want to do the work. And so she really would like do really good with boundary setting, and then she would go back to regressing. And so yeah, so she's the sweetest person. But she'll do strong and then she'll regress, and she's like, and so just yeah, a lot of back and forth.
And I think where I was asking, was that a difficult task for you, is setting and holding boundaries as well? Because it sounds, based off of what you just said, it sounds like that is also something that uh, is impacting you as well.
In my personal life? Oh no.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
No, in my personal life, no. Just helping this client try to like be clear about what she needs. And so yeah, we've come a long way. So she's gotten definitely better about like understanding her needs. And so that's kind of where we are now, is just like it's more self-love to say no versus I'm being mean to say no. Cause like she's just so much of a helper. So yeah, good question.
Rita, I have a question for you. When Dr. Bob said, could I make a suggestion? You kind of shook your head. And then he said, you might not like this. And then he talked about a boundary. And he answered and said, no, don't ask me again. Can you go to that moment and remember maybe what you were feeling or thinking as the client?
As the client, I was just like clenching up. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to say. And I'm just like, why are you being mean to me?
That's what I wondered, because when he said that, I wrote it down and I wrote off to the side firmness, um, similar to a boundary. But I just wondered, hearing it, how that could come across to someone. No, and please don't ask me again.
Yeah. So times when I am firm with her, because it's like we just have to play this dance. And for me, sometimes it gets exhausting. But the times when I am like very direct and not like super, I don't know, like laid back, I can tell she does tense up. And she'll make like sarcastic jokes. I know I'm making you upset. No, I am happy to help you, but we've got to do different. And so yeah, I was literally channeling how she feels when I do get really firm with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if you said, if you asked her to say that, what her thoughts would be. You know, you're teaching her to say no. And then if you add and please don't ask me again, I just can't imagine, what
I
her,
can't wait to try that part, the follow up, and don't say ask me again. Because I think we've done good about saying the no, but like I like the follow up piece of that too.
I just thought of something. That's the value of role plays. You think of the good ideas afterwards, but I thought of something that might be useful. And you say, now you asked me this today. I am going to establish a rule for myself. You can ask me 2 more times, and the answer will be the same. But after that, no more asking. Can you agree with that, Keisha? In other words, see, it's a no-win situation, or maybe it's a no-lose situation. You can ask, but the answer will be the same. But ask only 2 more times.
Yeah, and that's where we kind of left off the most recent few sessions is now she's developing a rule, which I feel like that's making it too rigid. So going from like super lax, yeah, everybody
Yeah,
can help stuff, then now we're having a rules, but like we'll see how it goes. But now that's where she's at now is like, hey, I'm gonna give them kind of like a 2-3 strike, then you're out. And so, because she's like, well, because tell her to have boundaries. Like, well, you always say I can't cut people off. I'm like, no, you can't cut people off, but you have to like have a system of why you're doing it. And so, kind of going back to the needs and stuff. So, but yeah, that's what kind of where she's at now is like, um, this rule of 2 to 3
yeah.
Say
before
rules
she
are for bending.
What?
I said rules are for bending. So,
Yeah,
have a rule. Maybe you bend it a little bit, but have a rule.
I
yeah,
It's
like
better
that.
than nothing.
I like that,
sure.
Rena. I like that. I think that would be encouraging.
and sometimes I personally try to stay away from the rule word, and I will use boundaries or guidelines. I have a family, for example, that just wrote a contract for their son to come back home, and 6 weeks later, it's not relevant. And I mentioned it to him. Are you at a place where you need to change the rules? Reestablish, now you're 6 weeks out. So I think people need to be flexible, and us therapists, we need to be flexible too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful. One thing I like that you always do, Dr. Bob, is the P part, so the plan. And so I was like, "Oh, I'll just text you." And you're like, "Well, I really want to hear your voice." So it made it sound like even though she was like offended that you wasn't helping, that you're still like, "Hey, I still care about you." So you're like, "No, I really want to hear your voice." Instead of texting, I will, can you just give me a call? So I like the plan of like, can you do it? And then can you follow up? And so so that's something and yeah, so that's one thing I love about doing your role plays. That's like cornerstone that you always do.
Yeah. And another thing, if that had been the first time I saw her, after we talked a little bit, I would have said, "How do you feel about talking to this white guy? I mean, this is the elephant in the room. Just bring it up." And that's the best way to do. But we had a long-term relationship, so we're past that. At least for me, I'm past asking about it. I would have asked it, and then you can kind of say, yeah, that's probably tough. Or if she said it was tough, or she was unwilling, but she was actually pretty cooperative. But there's nothing wrong with bringing that up if you're comfortable with it, and I'm comfortable with it because I don't know why, I just am.
Well, I'd like to piggyback off of what Rita said when you asked her to call you and you said you wanted to know how it went. You also asked her how she felt about it right then.
Yeah,
Now, and that I wasn't expecting you to say that. And I thought that was really good because she had to stop. At least I was watching your body language, just like you stopped and you thought, how am I feeling right now? So again, there's another interruption of a pattern that Rasha was talking about earlier, that you actually asked her to do a self-evaluation there. And then I also liked when you said something to the effect of, you were conversing with her and I'm I'm helping you, but in a different way today.
yeah,
And I thought that was excellent to be able to confirm or share with her. It's not that I didn't give you what you wanted, the money, but I'm still willing to help you. I like that. And then I like what Dr. Bob just said earlier. I wrote down, you can ask me 2 more times. The answer will still be no, but then you can't ask me anymore. I'm like, yeah, I like that one.
that's very paradoxical. You can ask me, but the answer will be no.
Yeah. But you're saying, go ahead and ask me 2 more times
Yeah.
for money. My answer is still going to be no.
So
But
she
go
comes away saying, "Well, what's that? Why does he say I can ask him, but he's going to say no?" You got her thinking a little bit differently.
ahead.
And that's one of the goals of this system is not just to get them to do something, but to help them think different. And also, I want to say this. I asked her how she feels. I'm not sure what your training has been, but some trainings, they say, don't ever talk about how they feel. Well, I say, talk about it if it's the most important, especially if it's the most obvious component of their behavior. For example, you talk to somebody who's really upset about a death in the family, you're not going to say, well, now what's your plan? Or what have you been doing here? I mean, you're going to say, this is a tough situation. You lost your mother or your brother or somebody, and you can talk about it. It's just that because that's a way to connect with them on their level, not on my level of reality therapy and choice theory. I think it is on about reality there because I think you can talk about any of those 4 wheels of the car or the 4 levels of the suitcase. And so I don't know if you know that analogy of the suitcase, but
Oh, Rena is shaking her head no. Do you have a minute to explain it?
well,
Yeah, please do. I'm like, what is that? I haven't heard of that.
okay. It's a good way to think about behavior, not only as a 4-wheeled car, which you probably know about, but think of it as a suitcase that we carry around with us with 4 levels. The top level is action, then thinking is a second level, third level feelings, and fourth level physiology. Now we're taught to talk about the top level of actions, which is that's the most obvious part. Yes, we certainly want to do that, which I did with her, and But feelings are important. The feelings are the lights on the dashboard of the car. And when they go on, you know something's wrong, especially if they're negative feelings. If they're happy feelings, well, then things are going pretty well. So uh, don't be afraid to take that suitcase by the handle, which is the action part, but also there's those other levels that you could talk about. And I think I asked you this. If I didn't, I would have, if she were a new client, what thoughts went through your mind when you walked in here today? And I do a group demonstration at conferences, and I ask them to be all hostile, unwilling people, which they do a good job of that, let me tell you. But a first question I ask them is, what thoughts went through your mind? And they'll all say, "Oh, this is a bunch of bull crap. I don't want to," you know, and they're very negative. And then I say, "Well, that's something you all have in common, that you don't want to be here, and you think it's baloney." Two things. And that's a way to get them involved in the group, is to find something common among them. And what's common is they don't want to be here. And I say, who wants to be here? You're all on probation, perhaps. I mean, if I were on probation, I wouldn't want to be here. I wouldn't want to be on probation. And so try to turn those negatives around and make them positive. I don't mean in a phony way, but so anyway, that's a good question to start with. With a hostile, reluctant, resistant person, what thoughts went through your mind today when you walked in here? And
Dr. Bob, do you have a picture of that suitcase on your computer?
well, probably, I don't know. I got everything else on the computer, but
I'm just wondering, I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere, but I wondered if you had it online where you could maybe send it to me and I could send it to Rena.
Yeah, you can send it to everybody. If I can find it, I will send it. And if you don't get it this week, you'll know I can't find it. But you could just take a little square with 4 levels and a handle on the top. You can make your own suitcase if you want.
Yeah. The visual, I think, that you put in your training books is really good. And maybe that's where I have it in one of the training books.
Yeah, it's around. I know that.
Mhm.
And it's very useful. People like, and we put in a suitcase of behavior. We put in there behavior from our experience. And her client has had a behavior of getting what she wants by asking people, which that's kind of a strength. They ask for what you want and need from somebody. So I just thought of that now, and you could point that out to her. But we put in our behavioral suitcase all kinds of behaviors based on our experience.
Mhm.
And if you have good experiences with people who are different from you, that's good to have that in that suitcase. If you have negative experiences, well, that's tough. And so I lived in other countries and I had good experiences in all of them. So I have pretty good, I know it's a little naive, but I have good experiences toward a lot of people that other people can't stand because they had bad experiences with them. Or it isn't just culturally, it's maybe bosses. Maybe you don't like bosses. You have bad experiences with bosses or supervisors. And when you take another job where you have a different supervisor, you might have to deal with that perception that you had based on your experience.
So I'm wondering, Dr. Bob, if we incorporate role plays into a therapy session.
Oh, yeah. A role play within a role play.
Right. What do you think about that?
I think it's very effective. And because it helps the client see a point of view that's different than the one she has. And I say keep it brief, don't go on forever. But a little role reversal there can be very helpful. And I didn't think about it, but I could have played. Did I play Keisha? I think I did.
Yes, you did.
It's all Yeah, and then and let her be somebody else, and they get a new experience, even in a role play. That can make a real impression. Did I use self-evaluation? I remember once I asked her, what did I ask? Did that help you to feel better or something like that? Did you feel happier after you did it? Did you feel closer to the person? All those are self-evaluation questions, even though they're not the stereotypical, did it help, did it hurt? There's a lot of ways to do that kind of self-evaluation.
So one that I wrote down that I thought was really good was, did that make you a better friend?
Yeah, that's
I
a
went,
self-evaluation.
did that make you a better friend by giving the $600, almost $600?
Yeah, she
There
might
was,
say yes. She
you did
probably
another
would, in
one
fact.
that I really liked because I felt like if I used something like this, it would throw my clients off guard in the initial. So how do you know you're tired?
Oh yeah. She said
That
she
was
was
the
tired.
only one.
That's a really good, that's a good question no matter what they say regarding feelings. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm depressed. How do you know you're depressed?
Right.
Wow. What do you mean? How do I know I'm depressed? I feel bad. Well, how do you know that?
Hmm.
I mean, and you can explain. I've explained to people, I ask a lot of weird questions. I know they're weird, but still
It
that I'm trying to help you think.
You asked another one. Let's see. I wrote it down here. Uh, it was when you were talking about friendships. How do you know something about how do you know no one loves you? Or maybe it was something to that effect. Maybe it wasn't those exact words, but she was talking about, um, well, no one loves me, and you said that sounds plural. Do you mean there's more than one?
Yeah, I said that.
That's something to that effect.
Yeah, okay. After these role plays, I have a very vague idea of what I said, but it'll come back to me later,
Right.
especially if Vicky's observing.
So when you said it sounds plural, I chuckled inside and I said, I wouldn't have caught that. And I love that because, oh, it sounds plural, like there's more than one loves you. So
Yeah.
that's my style. I like that. Well, I
I'd
know.
like to I'd like to bring up one idea
Okay.
before we stop. And I got this from a book I just finished reading the book. It's called The Interrogator. And it's about uh, the German interrogators who questioned the American flyers who crashed during the Second World War in France. They survived, of course, and this guy. Now, when you think of a German interrogator, what do you during the Second World War? What do you think of? Torture.
Dictator, torture.
Yeah, this guy and his team never did anything like it. They would just chit chat with the people. And those guys, the Americans, after a while, they'd reveal anything. I thought, boy, this is like, and I'm trying to use that in my own work as a counselor, get people just to talk. And I ask them some inane questions, like what thoughts went through your mind when you came in here. It's not inane, it seems like it. But this guy did this, and his team did this, and the Americans, they tell him everything and because they thought that they could trust the guy. I mean, this is amazing to me. I never thought of this happening at all. So this is what one thing I think you can do is chit chat for a while, especially with a new client. Just, what do you think about this weather? And they will reveal their feelings, their thoughts, and my suggestion is listen for what they say. Listen for listen for choices they made, and you can point that out and you say, "I don't want to. I hated to come, but you chose to come anyway." And so and you can kind of gradually introduce the language of inner control, and I mean, because there's a lot of people living who don't have much control, really. I mean, they're victims of all kinds of crap in our society. So we want to help them make choices, whatever they can. So listen for in control behavior and listen for choices. And buried, or maybe not buried, but included in their chit chat.
Yeah. I'd like to ask everyone real quickly, what is one idea that you're going to take away?
Yeah.
We've only got about a minute or two left. So does anyone want to share what they're going to take away? Go ahead, sir.
How do you know? That's it.
Do you know?
How do you know you're depressed, or how do you know you're angry? And also you could say, what do other people say about that?
How do you
If they're sent here, like on probation, what did they tell you when they sent you here?
How do you know? I love it. Rasha, did you want to add, or Rita, Rena?
I was just gonna say I like the you can ask me 2 more times. The answer will still be no. I love the paradoxical. Everything about paradoxical is so interesting.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about that. I'm like, that's perfect.
I like
Perfect. I like that.
Rita, Rasha?
Well, actually, it's the how part that was working really well. The why was the why part when it was like it wasn't very clear, but we could see how sometimes when we focus on the how, things will be solved easily, or we can reach to a point easily. The how part.
I like it. Thank you for sharing. Rita, do you want to share anything?
I like the prefacing that Dr. Wubbolding always does. Is like I ask a lot of weird questions, or can I make a suggestion? So the prefacing, I'm going to try to do more of that.
Yeah.
I always enjoy having Dr. Bob on, talking to him, being with him. You're phenomenal. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your grace and knowledge. Appreciate you very, very much.
Well, thank you for the invitation. And as I always say, take what is useful, leave aside what is not useful. If you didn't like something, or it didn't fit your style, personality, don't do it. Because Glasser did a lot of things I wouldn't do, just
Right.
because that's not me. So, but the basic message is obvious. So keep your eyes open for that intergalactic book. I'm trying to point to the stars out here. There's a couple stars, that maybe that one.
Yeah.
Has planets that there is intelligent life on. So
Our next RT Corner is September 23rd. Please put it on your calendar. We'll try to get email notices out to everyone. But anyway, thank you all so very, very much. And we will see you all next month. I'm going to stop the recording.
okay.